All right, it took a minute to pull the car out of the shop. And rolled it into the side building, which is actually the race shop or build shop, and got the car in here. And we're gonna start going further on the teardown. You know, what I did the other day was just yank the nose off of it, and then I kind of evaluated how much stuff was going to be flopping around, and decided to move it into this side of the building. So from here on out, we're gonna have some fun.
12 seconds later.
So you've been watching other channels where other guys are building their cars and they're taking their time and doing a lot of body work and a lot of paint prep stuff, and they're getting the suspension last. And I get that, because that's how most cars are built if you're doing a cool restoration. But I'm not. So we're gonna take a whole different approach. I know there's panels on here that need to be replaced. We know that. We've talked about it. You know, that door is dented. Whatever. I've got more doors back there. You know, this quarter panel's rusted out in the back. That's cool with me. We're cutting it all off anyways. There's gonna be, I mean, okay, let's put it this way. If you're on this channel and you're looking for a restoration and you're a purist, I hate to break it to you, go to another channel. That's gonna be honest. Go to another channel, because everything I do to this car is gonna just piss you off. And it's gonna be fun. So now that we moved to this side of the shop, you know, Kevin's car that he's building, that's awesome. You know, we've got all the suspension on his car. You know, up next is all his basic parts. For his suspension, his next part of his upgrades is probably gonna be, you know, subframe connectors, maybe an extra support. You know, these cars had a lot of flex in the frame up here with that sway bar the way it is. So there, you know, you put a secondary support bar out here, and that keeps these horns from flexing so much. There's a lot of little things I think it's kind of left on Kevin's for suspension, which is going to be amazing to upgrade. But on this one, we're focusing. Okay, here's an example. That's a 315 sticking out. I'm not changing the suspension in this area any at all. So we're going to cut this fender and flare it to fit that 315. Same thing in the back. That 315 sticks out a little bit. I don't care. That quarter panel has nothing that I need to save. We are going to cut it and flare it and get this car to sit down on top of that tire. So we're going to take all 5 or 6 inches out of that ride height. Same in the front, same in the back. We may even go more. I don't know. We'll see. But this build is not going to be a restoration. So if you guys are looking for that premium restoration job, that is not it. This will not be it. But if you're looking for a badass race car we're going to build, and I said it, this will be it. All right, well, you saw the tear down that I was doing on the car. Parts were thrown off to the side, and I was getting ready to pull the subframe out, and I wanted to show you something. So when they put this car back together, they were just bolting together, I guess, just to move it around. They didn't put any bushings. Between the body and the frame, which is okay, because that's one of the few things that I do on my autocross cars. You know, you put a bushing in there like this, and they're solid aluminum, so you don't get any movement between the body and the frame. So do you really need it if you don't want movement? No, not really. But they make this puck assembly. They make this puck assembly factory height, because this is easy, right? You build it. The guy who already has the rubber bushings in there or polyurethanes wants to switch to a solid aluminum one from Detroit Speed or Global West or whoever, because that's what we use or sell. This keeps all the fenders and everything in line. Keeps the radiator support in line, keeps the fender in line. You just pull one out, put the new one in, and all your body components stay the correct gapping. But what if you're starting from zero? What if you're starting with nothing on your car, like I am? Well, on my race car, I did the same thing. So I didn't put these in. What I did, because the hole is really big, I put this little metal puck. Basically, it's a super thick washer. And I lay it on the frame between the two, and I run my bolt up through, and then I use the same alignment holes that are on the Camaros. You can see it right there. I run it through, and then I tighten it down, and then I can see the little puck. I put a little bead, a little weld bead right on the edge of it so it doesn't move. Then I lift the body back up or drop the frame back down and run a couple beads around it. So now my hole is smaller, which is the same size as the bolt, and this works as my body bushing or puck between the two, so I get zero movement. And then what I do is once I tighten it all down, and this is going to take some work in here, I actually put, like in my own car, I put another bolt through here. So I've aligned it with that hole right there. I've used my puck as now my new alignment also, and then when I bolt it together, I have the factory bolt and another grade 8 bolt next to it, you know, using all 4 points on the front to keep my frame straight. Especially under severe autocrossing, you know, we got 315s on the car, super sticky. Sometimes we switch them over to slicks, which is a 40 tread wear, also super sticky. You know, the last thing I want is a little bit of frame movement, and locking it down extra like that helps. It does. Anyways, at least it does on my autocross cars. Just showing you what I was getting ready to do. All right, boom. So what I did is I pulled the 4 bolts that we were talking about on the frame, dropped the frame down to the ground, drug it outside, hooked up my little cheapy pressure washer, and pressure washed it all clean. Now it's sitting out in the sun, getting a little dry, and then I think, I don't know. I know that I want to change the upper mounts for the coilovers. I have these Speed Tech ones that I might use. You know, you end up we cut this off, and then make the hole or opening bigger so the coilover comes through, and then this would mount there and weld to the this back wall, keeping it from flexing, so because it doesn't have any of this front structure. Might do that, or I might build my own. So I'm gonna go in the shop and see what I got. Okay, well, I cut that single mount off, and you can see the new one really just kind of will slip into place like that. And then we would weld it down along the bottom, along this side, weld it to the back, that way it keeps it from flexing. But what I would end up doing is I'm going to end up cutting this hole bigger, because the coilover is going to need a lot more room to come up through there. All right, I'm gonna plasma cut the other side. And before I even put these or tack these in, we're gonna put the frame back in and do our alignments. Okay, well, the sun's coming in the windows, or the front door, I don't know if you can see me. Hold on, let me get over here. I can get out of the shade. There we go. So here's the pin that I used for aligning the front subframe. I showed it in several different videos, and I'll show you how it kind of works. You look down below, there's a hole right here that goes up through the frame and into the firewall area. So if you put the pin through there like that, you can see how it comes up through. Is there enough light to see in there? So it comes up through, and that, once you do that on one side, and you do it same on the other side, your subframe is pretty lined up. I mean, we just measured one just the other day, and it was dead on off those bolts. Anyways, one of the things I also do is drop a bolt in. Once I've got the frame lined up, I'll put this in here. Oh man, come on, I can't get it. Yeah, well, I have to fish it out. All right, so I did the frame like we were talking about, and I've got the washer in this place just lightly in there. You can see it. What I'll do is I'll just get in there and just tack the edge of that so it doesn't move, and then we'll drop the frame and we'll weld the rest of it in. Then from underneath you can see we did the main bolt, and then we did the secondary bolt like I talked about off to the side. That allows me to use a bolt here and over here, so they're diagonal, and then to have the same setup on the other side, and that helps keep it straight. And then we have a real solid frame mount on that front section.